As part of my job as Deputy Assistant Secretary of State between 1990 and 1994, one of the things I would do would be to go off with the Aspen Institute. Former Iowa Senator Dick Clark was working at the Aspen Institute, and he would endeavor to bring together Vietnamese participants, maybe about 15 or 16, and then 16 Western and American participants for kind of informal discussion in some very nice place. We went to the Hawaiian island of Lanai. I'd never been there, but we went to Jamaica first time. And it was so interesting. The other 15 Americans and international people spent all their time beating me up because America was too tough on Vietnam, and we weren't allowing American companies to go to Vietnam and invest and build businesses. After all, the war was over 15 years ago. Why are we doing that? Actually, the Vietnamese government officials who were there kind of felt sorry for me and in all this. And we got along fine. And we had interest with Vietnam, things we wanted, and we were being very tough about POW/MIA access and accounting, and we wanted development towards democracy in Cambodia. So after our more formal sessions where people are sitting around big tables and talking back and forth, there'd be more relaxed things in the evening. And speaking Vietnamese, I was sitting next to one of the senior-most members of the Vietnamese delegation. And he was the private secretary to Trung Chinh, who was the Secretary General of the Communist Party and the top leader of Vietnam. And I'd never met him before. I didn't know who he was at first, and he explained in Vietnamese to me who he was. And he was, Trung Chinh was gone, had passed away, and this man was now kind of getting a reward. They included him on this delegation. And he felt very free to talk. So we're sitting in a group. I've got these other American and international people I know, him and me. He and I are speaking in Vietnamese, and I'm translating. And so it's early 90s. Vietnam had been going through something called Doi Moi, new life, change, reform of their economics. Everybody was interested in that. So we were asking him, can you please explain why and what was behind the change in the policy, which is more open, more leaning towards free market economics. So he said, after the war, everybody in North Vietnam understood why during the war we didn't have economic progress. There was a war. Everything had to be devoted to winning the war. But when the war was over, we expected there would be economic development and things would be getting better and better, but nothing happened. And so 5, 6, 7 years after the end of the war, we got some of our best people together and we did studies about why is it that things are not progressing? Why aren't we moving ahead? And so I'm translating this to others and saying they're having this study. And then he says, and this is the moment, he said, after all our experts got together, we concluded that socialism doesn't work. And when I translated this to this crowd, they all fell off their chairs because here was a man, communist, socialist, one party, North Vietnam leaders saying, we looked at communism and it doesn't work. And so, as in the Soviet Union, former Soviet Union, as in China, all the communist parties came to the conclusion that Soviet-style, Stalin, Lenin, socialism, Maoism, Maoist socialism Didn't work. What they wanted and what they believed in, one-party rule, Communist Party rule. Don't challenge us politically. But we're now going to change our society and allow there to be free market activities and free market procedures and free market rules. And that transformation has led to, in China, they call socialism with Chinese characteristics, which means one-party rule, free markets, do what you want, just don't challenge us.